Welcome to another episode of Hood Ties. In this episode, we'll be discussing the life, struggles, and journey of one of Chicago's most captivating drill rappers, Wooski. His story is not just a tale of music and fame, it's a raw reflection of the environment he grew up in, the choices he made, and the consequences that followed. So, let's dive deep into the life of Marvel Williams, better known as Wooski. Wooski is more than just a name in drill music. He's a symbol of resilience and raw talent. Before the world knew him for his iconic remix of Computers in 2018, he was already a known figure in the streets of Chicago. His presence was felt long before he ever picked up a mic. Other local talents, including the Flyboy Gang, Dooski, and King Lil J, often referenced Wooski in their tracks, painting a picture of a man who walked a fine line between the streets and the studio. For years, fans of the drill scene saw Wooski as a relentless force, a stone-cold killer with a reputation that preceded him. After the release of Computers, it was clear that he was on the rise to becoming a superstar, much like King Von would later achieve in 2020. Many believed that if Wooski had embraced his musical potential fully, he could have reached similar heights. However, fate had other plans. Just 9 months after his breakout moment, tragedy struck. Wooski was shot in the head while attending the funeral of his close friend Dooski. This incident effectively sidelined him from the rap game, leaving fans to wonder what might have been. Marvel Williams, or Wooski, was born on September 24, 1997 in Chicago, Illinois. His father, known as Big Cookie, was no stranger to violence, allegedly being a hitman associated with a BD set called Freedom Town. With a father like that, it's no surprise that Wooski grew up in a world filled with chaos and conflict. Tragically, before Wooski even celebrated his first birthday, Big Cookie was shot and killed in a brutal attack, allegedly shot 18 times and even run over by a vehicle. This left Wooski and his siblings to navigate life without a father figure. Growing up, Wooski and his brothers lived in various neighborhoods, including 69th and Albahart, before eventually moving to Parkway Gardens, a place notorious for its gang activity. It was in these streets that Wooski picked up the name Sawu, which eventually morphed into Wooski. Influenced by his older brothers, especially Fella, who claimed E-Block, Wooski found himself drawn to gang life early on. In 2007, tragedy struck again when Wooski's older brother Fella was shot and killed in an argument. At just 10 years old, Wooski was thrust deeper into the lifestyle that would come to define him. Fella's death hardened Wooski's resolve and pushed him further into the streets. The family relocated to Parkway Gardens, where Wooski began to forge connections with various gang members, learning the rules of the streets and the reality of survival. By 2008, at the tender age of 10, Wooski witnessed his first murder, an event that would haunt him for years. He saw a man named Martian Melcher get shot over a mere $2. This was a brutal introduction to the violence that permeated his world, and from that moment on, he was shaped by the harsh realities around him. As Wooski grew older, he became more involved in the gang scene, claiming E-Block while also being around influential figures from other sets. By the time he reached his teenage years, he was already known for his street credibility. While most kids his age were focusing on school and sports, Wooski was hanging out with older gang members and learning the ins and outs of street life. At just 15, he was already carrying a .45 automatic handgun and had earned a reputation as one of the top shooters in his neighborhood. The streets were calling, and Wooski was answering. His feud with King Von ignited after a personal tragedy struck when his cousin Modell was killed. This marked a turning point for Wooski, who found himself caught in an endless cycle of violence and retaliation. Despite his growing notoriety in the streets, Wooski had a passion for music that he couldn't ignore. He started rapping at a young age, but it wasn't until he faced jail time in 2015 that he truly began to take it seriously. His arrest for first-degree murder, charges that were later dropped, forced him to reflect on his life. During his 2 years in jail, Wooski honed his lyrical skills, proving he was more than just a street soldier. He had the potential to be a real artist. When he was released in September 2017, the drill scene was buzzing, and Wooski wasted no time. He jumped back into the fray, quickly capitalizing on the momentum and releasing the Computer's remix that would change everything for him. The song went viral, catapulting him into the spotlight and solidifying his place in the Chicago drill scene. Wooski's rise to fame was meteoric. In January 2018, the Computer's remix was released on YouTube, and it quickly garnered millions of views. He became a household name in the drill community, with fans eager to see what he would do next. However, while he was gaining notoriety as a rapper, he remained entrenched in the streets. He became a member of the Flyboy gang and collaborated with other artists, including Dusky, releasing the drill classic Shooters. Wooski's lyrical prowess and street credibility made him a force to be reckoned with. But as his music career soared, the streets were calling him back. The summer of 2018 was a pivotal time for Wooski. He was heavily involved in the ongoing gang wars, often seen sliding with members of Jaro City and E-Block, looking for retribution after the death of his friends. He was not just a rapper, he was a frontline soldier, constantly in the mix of street battles. The turning point came on October 22, 2018, during Dusky's funeral. What was supposed to be a day of mourning turned into chaos when gunfire erupted outside the church. Members of 800 allegedly opened fire, leading to a frantic scene where attendees scrambled for safety. In the midst of the chaos, Wooski took action. Grabbing a gun from someone too afraid to shoot, Wooski started firing back at the attackers. In a tragic twist of fate, amidst the chaos, he was shot in the back of the head on accident by a bullet fired by 051 Melly. Wooski was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he underwent surgery. Many feared the worst, thinking this might be the end of a young life filled with potential. But against the odds, Wooski survived, transitioning from a street soldier to a patient in recovery. As he recovered, Wooski faced a new reality. He was no longer the aggressive soldier of the streets. Instead, he became a figure of intrigue and speculation. While he was recuperating, the drill scene continued to evolve, with artists like King Von rising to prominence. Von began to diss Wooski in his music, taking advantage of the situation to elevate his own status. Wooski's girlfriend stood by him during his recovery, but the trust within the community was fractured. After the tragic loss of FBG Duck, tensions escalated. Wooski found himself in a precarious position, unsure of who he could trust among the very people he once fought alongside. Despite the challenges he faced, Wooski's impact on the drill scene remains undeniable. His early tracks are still celebrated, and he continues to be a favorite among drill fans. While he may be out of the streets for now, the question looms: will he return to music? And if so, will he reclaim his throne in the game? As we reflect on Wooski's journey, it's essential to recognize that his story is one of survival, resilience, and the struggles that come with living in an environment filled with violence and loss. His life is a testament to the harsh realities many young black men face, battling against the odds while trying to carve a path for themselves. From the streets of Chicago to the peaks of drill fame, Wooski's story is a poignant reminder of how intertwined music, violence, and community can be. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time as we continue to shine a light on the street stories that matter. Peace.